What's going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing good. I want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. I hope that your whole year 2025 is filled with love, God's blessing, God's grace. And for the ones that feel that it won't be, I hope that God blesses you with blessings and grace. Honestly. What I want to get in today with this, I want to talk about Bivol versus Beterbiev. Since that fight is going to be coming up in a couple months in February, I believe the 22nd, the second fight. I wanted to say that I know a lot of people felt that Bivol was robbed, and I'm going to agree, but I'm going to agree with the fact that he was robbed of a draw, because that's what the fight was. Except for the last maybe 3 rounds, rounds 10, 11, and 12. Though I feel like 10, that's a pretty strong round for Beterbiev. I want to say that fight was a draw. That fight was a draw. Bivol came out perfectly technical as he always did in the first few rounds. I would say rounds 1 to 3 or 4. And Beterbiev was strong in the middle. And then towards the end, I feel that Beterbiev thought that he had done enough. That what he had done was, how do I put this? What he had done was more than what he thought towards the end. Meaning, he kind of let Beterbiev get his one-offs, especially in rounds 11 and 12. And I'm not sure if he got gassed out, but it seemed that he believed that he had done enough. It looked that way. It looked like Bivol appeared as if he had done enough throughout the entire fight, which he did. And unfortunately, not enough to win. Now, I see this fight as a draw. That's my own honest, humble opinion. I see this fight as a draw. Why I see that as a draw is because Bivol came with his counters, and whenever he would utilize his jab, he would go off on combinations whenever Beterbiev was stationary. But then Beterbiev, his power is incredible, 100% knockout rate at that, that when he came back with his shots, it was more so. People said that he was punching Beterbiev, that Beterbiev was punching Bivol, but that Bivol was blocking most of the punches. You could block most of those punches. Did he block most? No. Did he block some? Yes. Plenty of shots gotten through, because Beterbiev's power is so incredible. Again, 100% knockout rate. His power is amazing. So for anybody to say that not really a lot of shots got through, they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I do, but I watched the whole fight. And I just got done watching some highlights just now. Bivol, in this second fight, just needs to push a little bit harder in order for him to get a win. And here's the other thing, too, that's incredible. Out of all the Beterbiev's opponents, Bivol went the distance. Bivol is the one that pushed against the grain. He kept moving. He stayed in motion. He utilized his jab. He used combinations. He stayed on point. The problem is that he didn't stay on point all the way, all 12 rounds. Beterbiev took some rounds in the middle of the fight, probably rounds 6 and 7. Round 8, Bivol definitely had some incredible highlights for sure. That's when I saw most of his combinations. Like I said, I just watched some of the highlights now. I'll probably rewatch the entire fight and give an even more in-depth analysis if that's what you guys want me to do. Just let me know. But I will say this for the most part. this fight was 100% won by Beterbiev, according to the judges. But according to me, in my brain and what I was seeing, my boxing head, I saw a draw. I saw a draw between two great fighters for the most part. And I also saw a draw because I seen equal work going out. Now, I do feel there were times that Bivol did outwork Beterbiev, and Beterbiev appeared as if he didn't know what to do. It seemed like he was kind of taken aback in a way. If you look at the look on his face, if you pay attention to the body language of fighters, right? If you pay attention to that, Beterbiev appeared somewhat confused, like he didn't know exactly what to do with Bivol. And that's because Bivol's style, that classic Soviet style, that classic rhythmic Soviet style, that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that style, that rhythm that he has, that bounce he has. Beterbiev, with most of the opponents he's fought, they didn't really fight like Bivol did. So he appeared as if he knew that he was up for a challenge. He knew that there was something complicated in front of him, a puzzle he had to solve, and he took a few pieces. He was able to land what he needed to land. He was able to counter what he needed to counter, but he definitely appeared somewhat confused about it. Is he going to admit that? I highly doubt that, because no fighter, under any circumstances, should ever admit that their fighter, their opponent, was confusing, or that they couldn't figure out their opponent. No, you want to be the best, you say you're the best, you say you got it. That's it. That's what any champion would say. You know what I mean? You got to have that type of rough edge. You got to say that you did that, because you're a champion. That's what champions do. Michael Jordan never sat there and said like, "Oh, they beat me," and then like looked defeated. No, he was like, "Hey, they got us. We're gonna come back stronger." You know what I mean? That's just what champions do. That's how champions talk. That's just how it is. Every so often you get a humble, you get a Floyd Patterson, the gentleman of boxing. A really laid back, chill, kind person that's a fighter and fights like a monster, but got a heart of gold, So him talking the way that he did, and then, him fighting the way that he did, rather, it just appeared that he was confused, at least to me. Now, when the fight continued on, and if you pay attention to the language of it, there was a point in time in the fight. Again, I was watching highlights recently. I watched the full fight, but I'm just kind of going off memory. Again, if you guys want me to give an in-depth full analysis, I will watch the entire fight. I'll make notes on it, and I'll give you guys my opinion on what I think. And if you guys fuck with it, you fuck with it. If you don't, you don't. But I'm just letting you guys know. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to, just say, hey, I would appreciate, Clark, if you could just give a full in-depth analysis on the fight. And I will go ahead and I'll watch that whole thing, and I'll give my opinion on it for you guys. I'll write down my notes and everything. But anyway, it appeared that during part of the fight, I believe, I forgot what rounds. I'm assuming rounds 5, maybe 4, maybe a little bit in, maybe 5, 6. It appeared that during those rounds, there were some combinations done by Bivol, and there was counter punches, but there was also a moment where they both didn't really do much. And I remember the commentator saying that they were taking this round off. So when the judges gave the scorecard, I'm not sure what was going on. The guys were still fighting, but they weren't doing as much. They were conserving their energy. But I'm not sure if the judges really paid attention to that round and gave that round the weight and the value that it needed to be given, which would have given the ultimate decision to be a draw. Because the way that I'm looking at it is, if both fighters aren't really doing much, they're doing a little bit, but they're not doing much, that round absolutely counts as a draw. And most of the fight, again, in my opinion, just appears as a draw. Both guys equally did what they had to do. Both guys equally did what they were supposed to do. They both followed their fight plans. Bivol, he stick and move. And Beterbiev was to do what he always did. Press on, pressure, pressure, pressure. It's a very confusing it's very confusing to look at things from this perspective when you got, like, when you need to pay attention to the entire fight and all. It's very confusing to, like, be able to, like, explain this in depth when, if you're not really paying attention to the entire fight, which a lot of people have not paid attention to the entire fight. They really like Bivol, and they just want to say that he's robbed. Not everybody. Most people understand that Beterbiev won, but I don't even give the slight edge out to him, even though I love both fighters. I just don't necessarily want to give the slight edge out to Beterbiev because, in my honest, humble opinion, I feel that the fight was a draw. If both guys are taking a round off, that needs to be given value. That round needs to be given weight. That round needs to hold some power because both guys are not necessarily putting in any work for a specific or a certain round for both of them so they can conserve their energy. That's an important perspective. That's an important view to have on that round. Like, you need to really think about that because how is it that both guys can sit there and not fight, not be throwing any punches, but one of them wins that round? It's just something that I've just been thinking about. But again, I just wanted to say that I believe the fight was a draw. I'm going to be watching, obviously, the upcoming second fight, the 22nd. I think on the 15th or the 16th, Benavidez versus Morel is going to be coming as well. I'm going to be watching that as well. I'll be giving my analysis on that. I believe they did have a press conference. I watched it. I'll probably speak on it. Maybe I might, but I like speaking on the fights, especially if the press conference isn't necessarily excuse me, especially if the press conference isn't necessarily anything exciting. Not saying that it has to be. It's fine to speak on something that's not exciting, just as long as you like the sport. You just speak on all aspects. It's just that I like to speak on the fights. Like, I like speaking on those. But, I mean, if the press conferences are exciting, I want to speak on that as well because that's what's in. And you can really pick apart a press conference when it's a certain way. If there's a certain intensity or if there's a certain level of energy that's risen in it, there's a lot more to pick apart there. But, again, I digress. I hope you guys have a great day. Just wanted to give my opinion on that. You guys let me know if you want an in-depth breakdown analysis of Bivol versus Beterbiev 1. I will absolutely do that. You just let me know. And I'll be talking about the next fights coming up that I just mentioned. All right, guys. Peace out.